David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a review of a pen from a brand that is new to me. It's a brand out of India and is called Constellations88. And their pen that I'll be showing you today is their Plasma Demo model. What I'm going to do is go over the parts and features of the Constellations88 Plasma Demo, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. And then stay tuned to see how you can win this very pen, courtesy of Federalist Pen and Paper, who provided this pen for review and for me to give away to one of you. This was something they gave me while I was down at the Atlanta Pen Show earlier this year. This weekend, the weekend that I'm posting this video, is the Triangle Pen Show in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. If you are close to the area, I would highly recommend stopping by for the show. And if you do attend the show and see me walking around, make sure to say hi. As I mentioned, Constellations88 is a brand based out of India. They derived their name from the fact that there are 88 officially recognized constellations. And their logo is an interwoven star that you can see here on the outside of the box. Inside of this box is a nice little stiff pouch made of imitation leather, so it's vegan friendly. It's a rather large pouch, and so the pen that comes with it is a little bit on the smaller side, so you really kind of need to dig in there to get the pen out. Now, there's room in here for 2 standard size pens, but there's only one compartment. There isn't anything separating the 2 pens, so if you have 2 in there, they'll kind of be rubbing up against one another a little bit, especially when you're sliding them in and out. But including a nice hard case like this is nice. And here is the pen, the Constellations88 Plasma Demo. The pen is available in 3 different colors. There is a purple and a pink, each of which incorporate a ribbon pattern. Then there is what I have here, the clear demonstrator. This model is made from precious resin and the trim is all brass. Let's start by taking a look at the end of the cap. The finial is inlaid with a brass coin, which has the Constellations88 name, as well as their interwoven star logo. I like this insert. I think it looks nice. Near the end of the cap, there is a brass band, and then we have the clip. These are actually separate pieces and not connected. The clip is sloped and has a rather large upward-facing end, which make the clip rather functional in both thicker and thinner pocket materials. The cap is straight, and there is no cap band, but one thing I did notice, though, with this pen being a clear demonstrator, you can see everything inside. When the pen is capped like this, you can see the threads that are connecting the section to the barrel, and then the threads that are connecting the cap and the barrel. It would have been a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye if these 2 sets of threads kind of sat more on top of one another, so we kind of avoid this part here where it's just threads for over ½ an inch. It's not the most egregious sin, just a nitpick on my part. The transition between the cap and the barrel is very smooth, and then we have the transparent barrel, which is straight until about this point, at which then it tapers down slightly to the end of the barrel, which is flat. One thing I did notice about the barrel is that you can see here I have a converter in here right now, but at the end of the barrel you can see that there's an indentation in the shape of the drill bit that they use to core out the barrel, and the end of the converter actually extends into that indentation, so it just barely fits in here with probably about ½ millimeter to spare. The cap twists off. It does take 3.5 turns to remove this cap, and underneath we have this number 6 Bach nib. The Plasma Demo offers 2 different nib sizes. It comes in either an italic stub or a medium, which is what I have here. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section begins with a raised ring. On some clear feeds, the ink kind of pools up here a bit in the section, but with this section, everything is more contained in a black kind of plastic housing inside, so it's a bit easier to clean if you're changing ink colors. At the end of the section, there is a brass ring and then the cap threads and a moderately sized step up to the barrel. The step up here is a little steep, but not so much that it impedes your grip. Even if you hold your grip a bit further back on the section, I don't feel the step up gets in your way. I mentioned the converter previously, but this is a cartridge converter pen. A converter is provided, but I feel it would be more appropriate to eyedropper this pen. The only reason I didn't eyedropper it because I wanted it basically to be easier to clean for when I sent this pen to the winner of the contest. But yes, if you apply a little bit of silicone grease here on the threads, then this would look great as an eyedropper. And in that capacity, it would have a very large ink capacity. The cap kind of posts. I mean, it's barely on there. I wouldn't actually categorize this as a pen that posts. And I find the barrel is long enough so that I can write with this pen comfortably, even if it's for longer writing sessions. On the Federalist Pens website, the Constellations88 Plasma Demo retails for $140. I do feel that that's kind of on the high end of the value scale of this pen, but I don't feel it's out of line. It has a brand name Bock nib, though of the two major nib manufacturers, I kind of personally prefer Jowo nibs, but this Bock nib I have on this pen performs just fine. Are there other clear demonstrators I would rank higher than the Constellations 88? Sure. But if you're rounding out your collection or would care to try something new and a bit different than most of the pen brands that are out there, then it's worth checking out this pen. I'll put a link to where you can find it on the Federalist Pen site in the notes below. Thanks again go out to Federalist Pen and Paper for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. In regard to the giveaway, in order to enter, all you need to do is to be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment here on this video on YouTube. If you are a Patreon supporter, I appreciate your continued support, and you can alternately leave your entry comment on that site. In regard to a comment topic, the plasma is an interesting clear demonstrator. So why don't you let me know what your favorite clear demonstrator is? The comment topic is not required, it is just a suggestion. 72 hours after I post this video, I will randomly choose a winner from those who left a comment. Now, this is how this works. That if you win the drawing, what I do is I reply to your comment in YouTube or in Patreon, wherever you left it, and give you a deadline of about 3 to 4 days to email me with your contact info. Over the last month or so, I've had a couple of instances where the winner failed to get back to me in time, even after I gave them a little extra time and prompted them more than once. And then I ended up having to select alternate winners. So don't let this happen to you. If you leave a comment and a couple of days later you see you have a little number next to your little notification bell icon, one of the several things that it can mean is that someone replied to one of your comments. And that could be me letting you know that you won. So don't ignore those notifications. If you're lucky enough to win, I want you to have your prize. Okay, so now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Constellations 88 Plasma Demo. In regard to some other clear demonstrators, here it is with a TWSBI VAC Mini, and then here it is with a TWSBI Diamond 580, and then here it is with a TWSBI VAC 700. And in regard to some pens that aren't TWSBIs, here it is with a Pilot Metro, here it is with a Kaweco Skyline Sport, and here it is with a Jinhao X450. So, here we go with the writing sample for the Constellations 88, and this is the Plasma Demo. And this is actually how you spell the name. It's Constellations with an S and then 88 with no spaces right after it. And this is a medium steel nib. And since this is a pen made in India, I thought I would use an ink that was made in India. And we are using Krishna Jungle Volcano. This is what the ink looks like. It's a really interesting ink that kind of is an orangish brown and that it has some really nice kind of brownish green sheen to it when it dries. It's a very interesting ink. There's not a lot of comparables. This is what it looks like in regard to the J. Herban Rogue Hemonite. And then this is what it looks like in regard to something a little redder, which is the Sailor Gentle Grenade. There's not a lot of comparables when it comes to the Jungle Volcano, and this is what the bottle looks like. The bottles are a little bit on the small side. I wish they made larger bottles, but I did hear that down the line they might be considering adding some larger bottles to their offerings. And now in regard to the rest of the writing sample. Like I mentioned during the review, this is a number 6 Bach nib. So it is a brand name nib, which has that going for it. That I find this one to be pleasant. You can get a little bit of line variation out of here, not too bad. And in regard to wetness, this Jungle Volcano is a bit of a wetter ink, and so you can see that there's plenty of wetness there. In regard to some reverse writing, I do find it to be a little scratchy, but it does get the job done. And then in regard to some fast writing, to see how the feed keeps up, if I can remember my own initials. There you go. And there's no issue with that whatsoever. So there you have the Constellations88 Plasma Demo. Thanks again go out to Federalist Pen and Paper for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. Don't forget to leave your comment here in YouTube or in Patreon for your chance to win this very pen. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.